Starting. Good morning.
JD.
Hi, this is Malcolm Nance. And if you're seeing my smiling face in this beautiful red jersey that I have from Ukraine, then you are watching Black Man Spy, U.S., Iran. I don't even know what cast I called it today because there's so much craziness happening. I think we should call it a high-level working group cast or subcommittee cast. And this is
Capitulation 2.0 cast.
Escalation 2.0.
No,
This is
capitulation.
Capitulation 2.0. I
Yeah.
say Swiss cheese cast. Because like the country they held these negotiations in, full of its delicious, delicious cheese, this agreement and this MOU is full of holes. This is day 117 by our count of the U.S.-Iran war, which, believe it or not, is still not over. There is no end of the war, even though they claim the MOU is the official cessation of hostilities, and apparently other people have things to say about that. And some of the people who have things to say about that is Jacob Karsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire, coming to us from Copenhagen mid-afternoon. Or are you up in the Jutland Peninsula there?
No, not yet. In 10 days. I'm
In 10
in
days, you'll be up in
Copenhagen.
Jutland.
Yeah. So you can see the screen here behind me.
All right. And Wajeeh the Gay Lion coming to us from Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we have the East Coast, the Midwest, your Central European time. We got it all. And we are all operating on Middle East time, which is Iran is plus 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's GMT plus 3+3.5. It's weird, like Afghanistan. So that being said, welcome to today's show. Usually we have a whole bunch of light banter, which we are already skyrocketing in 3 minutes up towards 1,000 people. I did not sport a hat today. I'm starting to feel naked without it, but I am wearing my nice shirt from Lviv, Ukraine, which I got in the first year of the war. I have a whole bunch of these. There's a shop there called the Ukrainian Air Force Shop. And it's really a motivational shop where they make T-shirts and shirts which supported the Ukrainian Air Force and then went on to do it like tanks and ships. And they put out one-of-a-kind T-shirts and polos. And I don't think you can get them outside of Ukraine. I don't think they ship outside of Ukraine. But I got this in Lviv really early on, maybe the month after the war started, and they were putting out these really patriotic shirts. And this is a Ukrainian Air Force one. I have a Ukrainian Navy, Ukrainian Army. I even have the Ukrainian Russian warship, Go F Yourself. I have a Gur shirt. I actually have a couple of those in olive and that I wore all the time.
And why am I wearing it? Why am I wearing the Gur shirt?
Why are you wearing the Gur shirt?
There are so many reasons these days.
That's the Ministry of Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, their version of the combined DIA and CIA. Yes?
Today, two very important reasons.
What is them?
Ukraine has destroyed the two major air defense systems around the Kerch Bridge and a number of very significant radars around the Kerch Bridge.
Oh, that was yesterday.
Mashallah.
You know what's next?
Exactly. So don't go to the bookies.
1,000 drone raid just on the Kerch Bridge.
Don't go to the bookies and put all your savings on the Kerch Bridge being there next week.
Destroyed in next 30 days. I got to tell you the truth. I think they're going to do what they did last time. They're going to take out only the inbound lanes and leave one span open to leave. And it's going to be miles long of Russians who went down there. My favorite one are the people who went to Crimea, where they said, oh, well, we thought we could have a beach house and we would rent it out and we'd make a lot of money. Yeah, you trapped now, bitch. How's that working out for you? No air defense, no ship.
Exactly. And then the second reason, actually, one of our viewers put it in the comments already, a really sharp guy out there, whoever it was, I didn't catch the name. But that's because the Ukrainians decided this morning they had had enough of Russia's prime semiconductor factory in Voronezh, south of Moscow. So the semiconductors for the S-300 and S-400 air defense systems and for these kind of missiles, gone.
They're the Iskander
Gone.
missiles, which are battlefield ballistic missiles. The last ones that hit Kyiv were made in March. So their construction to launch cycle is very short. Nothing's in inventory.
They're straight out of the factory.
You know what they say? Shoot them if you make them. Right? Out the door and onto a launch pad. That's not good, especially when we destroy your semiconductor factory. Well, that's great. I think that's wonderful. I wanted to talk about yesterday, Belarus, the Ukrainian threat to Belarus. Zelensky just straight up threatened Lukashenko. Belarus is using repeaters that guide Russian drones into Ukraine from the north. And Zelensky, who's got a big Johnson these days, said, if you don't turn those fucking things off, you have 1 week. We're going to turn them off. And you know what? I've been a big advocate since 2023 of Ukraine invading Belarus. They'd win. They'd win in a week. That government would collapse and it would be like Liberation Day for Belarus.
Yeah.
But, I will wait till we see that. What kind of coffee mugs you guys sporting? Watch it. I know you got something earthy. Yeah, very earthy. The only one. And what do you got? Ukrainian?
This is actually my son's first soccer club. Frederiksson. It's Ukrainian colors, but it's his boyhood club.
Ukrainian colors.
Fredriksson's. Okay.
Fredriksson, not Sund. Sund. Which means sound. It's because it's on the fjord. There's a sound,
fjord,
and
a nautical sound where you take soundings. Okay, well, I have my enamel Kangerluswak
yes,
I got at Kangerluswak Airport in Greenland, which is, believe it or not, it's not near anything other than the Russell Glacier, but it is the biggest airport in Greenland. And when we were talking about the invasion of Greenland, we were talking about this place is where the Danish special forces flew up to, took full ammunition and explosives to destroy the runway, because that is the longest airport. The U.S. Air Force operates out of a section of that airport with their ski planes that go up to the Great North, and that they would have landed there and then Nuuk, or simultaneously at Nuuk and that. So this is how you spell it. If you see L, it makes the sound of like super sloop. So Kangaluswa. So
even the Danish, the commander of the Danish army went up there that weekend.
I recall that. And, the F-16s were stationed up there. It was salty for a little bit up there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm rocking my Greenland Solidarity mug. And that leads us to, oh, wow, we've got enough people. All right. We always wait till we get about 1,000 people, because if we start the show the first 10 minutes, you will miss everything, and then we'll have to go back and recap it. So, Jacob, somebody says your hat makes you look younger and more hip. Maybe you're out breakdancing or doing parkour. And also, your brim needs to be flat. All right, so you can be a real white boy with that. like your hero, Vanilla Ice.
So Vanilla Ice.
Okay,
exactly.
Let's get on to business, ladies and gentlemen. I know you all want to know, Malcolm, what is the status of the Lucerne Peace Conference, or I should say the Lucerne Conference that is going on, which J.D. Vance attended along with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Well, the Lucerne Conference has officially ended. It ended yesterday. It ended yesterday twice. It ended when the conference started and everybody was sitting across the table. And in the middle of the conference, Donald Trump threatened the ambassadors of Iran and the nation state of Iran. We will get to that. And they got up, double fingers, and walked out. So it ended there. And then apparently they did a soft walk back in, met with the Pakistanis and the Qataris, and came to an agreement that they would now form subcommittees. Wajeeh, show us that video. Who is this, and why does he have that disbelieving look on his face?
This is Sayed, the leader of the Pakistani state. This is after he received a message. Yeah, Sharif. This is after he received a message saying that, well, the Iranians walked out.
Yeah, and that look on his face is just precious. He's like, you know what that look is? The fuck? And he's standing there like, the fuck? I mean, they were just here. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
That shit's precious. And he even wore a tan suit for this. Give him that Obama confidence.
That would be sweat, sweat rolling down like
look, you
Rudy
can see
Giuliani.
the perspiration. All he needs is a little
Rudy
handkerchief.
Giuliani back in the day, Rudy Giuliani with...
Yeah, the full Giuliani. So anyway, thank you, Wajeeh, for that. By the way, Wajeeh, before we go any further, what's the price of oil looking like?
Oh, perfect. I got you.
Oil desk up.
Oil desk.
Wait.
Well, you got... hold on. Here you go.
Take care of that. Oh, nausea. Read that out. We can't see it. It's in the 70s.
All right. WTI is 74.70, down $1.15. Brent crude is at 78.79. Marban is at 71.51. And then you got OPEC at 83.16.
So there was a little pop up in the yesterday, and then it went down again.
Yeah. Again, the markets believe.
Hear me better.
The markets believe that these talks are going to lead to something, but the poly markets are telling us something different. In fact, the poly market.
We're all talking about betting now.
Well, the poly market is predicting that the Israeli government will be dismantled by early next month.
Dismantled the Israeli government. Well, they should have bet on the British prime minister's market. But I find that interesting. That's an interesting analysis. Another reason why oil may have taken a little jumpy jump yesterday and then dipped is because there was an explosion at the Ras Laffan liquid natural gas facility. I was on Mario Noafal's show. They called me for an emergency thing and showed me the video. And I was like, oh, that really looks like gas exploding like an atomic bomb. The Qataris are saying it was an industrial accident. Yes. Explosions in your liquid natural gas facilities are always an accident. It's going to accidentally take your money. But the question that came up on the table was, in the middle of these talks, Iran wouldn't have fired drones at them. Who would have caused an explosion that would have disrupted those talks? A lot of fingers started pointing. Right? It wasn't the Iranians, but that had no effect on anything. So what happened at the conference was the high-level working group, which is what they are calling the top negotiators of Iran, Pakistan, Qatar, and Iran. had their meeting. They were face to face across a room. And then, of course, Donald Trump opened his mouth. The Iranians walked out. But the technical committees, the low-level working group that is now doing all of the technical work, they call them the technical committees, have agreed to form subgroups or working groups that will progress to meet and negotiate various subjects. The working groups there are as follows. There will be a nuclear working group. There will be a working group on sanctions and sanctions relief. There will be a working group on monitoring the MOU and then dispute resolution of things that crop up in the MOU. And because Lebanon is a special baby, they will have a special deconfliction cell whose job it is to come out, and when the Israelis bomb something, they will come out and say, hey, get the Israelis to stop bombing things or else. And they will be able to communicate back and forward through the deconfliction cell. So that's it. The big conference is over. Everybody got Wiener Schnitzel, and I'm not a big fan of Swiss cheese. I'm an Emmental or a Gruyere kind of guy. I've been to Emmental. That's a cool little village.
Gruyere is Swiss, so.
Yeah, well, so is Emmental. Wait, Gruyere is Swiss cheese?
Yeah.
No.
It is. Gruyere. I mean, that's just when you cross from the German-speaking part of Switzerland into the French part, the village of Gruyere. I know.
I've been through Gruyere. I've been through Emmental. I had a girlfriend in
every harbor. But there are no harbors in Switzerland.
Well, she lived in Vevey. So I was in Vevey a lot. Vevey. What's famous about that is not only is it on the lake, it has the official Freddie Mercury statue there, right? And the Vevey basketball team, Switzerland has all these basketball teams, y'all. All African Americans. Like all. So when I went, somebody took me to a Vevey basketball club game, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to see a bunch of Swiss guys play basketball. I get there. It's all collegiate and NBA level Americans. And at the end, they're all like, hey, who's that brother up in the stands? And I'm like, who's y'all? And we all got together after. And like, how'd you get here? Same way we have black women playing basketball in Moscow. So there's a whole world of cool people hanging out in weird parts of the world.
Actually, one time I was leaving Saudi Arabia, and I was in Jeddah International Airport, and I'm sitting at the coffee before, the gate where you get scanned and enter the terminal. And I saw a tall black brother. And I look at him. I'm like, this is not a Saudi. This is not your regular. This is not a Saudi. So I approach him, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, I'm good. And I'm like, wait, you are an American. He goes, yeah. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I came here to play basketball for Al Ittihad team. And I'm like, damn.
You know what? The Saudis should just create a scholarship pipeline. I mean, the way that they just
announced
tennis. Oh, they did. They're going to do their own SBA, right? The Saudi Basketball Association, and they can just buy out entire NBA teams.
In fact, if you're a Westerner now, you can apply for full-time scholarships inside Saudi Arabia and go to school there, full paid by the Saudi government. FYI. So they're working on making a double NCAA basically version, and Jeddah has created the first American football team in the kingdom as well. So they're working on changing shit.
I was about to say,
guys, we go from Swiss cheese to basketball. let's get to the substance, guys, because you were talking about the Lebanon deconfliction cell.
Well,
this is why I said this is the second surrender, the second capitulation, because this is the first time anyone has given Iran a direct role into the Lebanese complexity of political affairs, and that is just insane.
You've been waiting all day to say that, haven't you?
I've been waiting all day to say this, and this is why this is up here. Because
well, look,
2005, in 2005, we had the Cedar Revolution and the Syrian withdrawal. And there hasn't been that direct of a foreign influence in Lebanon since then. This is well, there's been lots, but this is the first time that Iran is invited into it directly.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there by proxy. Now they're in there directly, and it is insane that anyone can think that's a good idea. And Israel is going nuts. All of Israel, and even Samir Jaja, the leader of the largest Christian party, because J.D. Vance was standing there talking about the Christians and all that delusional nonsense he doesn't know anything about. And Samir Jaja has come out in the last hour or so and said, we need to make sure that Iran doesn't get a direct influence here. Stop it, U.S. government. This is crazy.
Too late.
So, yeah.
So you're saying there is Iranian officials on the ground in Lebanon negotiating at the moment?
No, but they, by virtue of this deconfliction cell and that whole setup the U.S. government is making now, they've been invited in and get a veto. So that's the big problem. And that's because the Trump administration doesn't understand what the hell is going on in Lebanon and all of its political complexities.
And I'm going to give you an example of that. Okay, first off, all of these names and activities and locations, if you guys wonder why I constantly have my hands in my head, is because I was 20 years old when I had to deal with these exact same people, right? Shamir Jaja. We're having to deal with Nabi Berri again, the Iranians, Hezbollah, Amal, the Israelis. The only person that's missing here is Walid Jumblat, who I know is out there.
He is out there.
The Jumblats. All of these characters are the same, but there are some new components here that we need to talk about. So we are going to set aside Luzerne because Lebanon is the key sticking point to everything. This is why the Strait of Hormuz is not open, people, despite Donald Trump lying again just this morning and saying that it's open.
JD lying again? Yeah.
Let's just pretend like J.D. Vance doesn't exist on this planet. All right? All he is a vehicle. No, seriously. Seriously, he does not exist. Okay? Has there been a vice president with the least amount of influence in American history since John Adams? Right? Back when Congress used to laugh at John Adams and say, he doesn't have a job. And John Adams used to say, I don't have a job. I just sit there and wait for a tie vote. That's J.D. Vance. And he's out there knocking down Wiener Schnitzel. I mean, that's it. Now, why is all of this important? Because Lebanon is not just a serious obstacle, but there is a factor that came up yesterday. It's a Trump comment that I'm sure none of you caught because it was on Fox News. And I am not going to play Fox News over that. Michael Weiss made a comment about this, and so did Mark Polymeropoulos. Both are analysts for CNN. And Trump actually said yesterday that, let me get the quote, he slammed Israel's inability to defeat Hezbollah and said he is close to empowering Shara, the president of Syria, right, to finish off Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Did he say that again?
Yes, again. And here, I will actually, I can, he made it after his guardian angel quote, but this is the United States. I can't believe that it's like I'm back to the future. I'm 20 years old again, but only this time, the American president is controlling Syrian forces and thinks he's going to get the Syrians, I shit you not, to invade Lebanon to attack Hezbollah. Okay, let me tell y'all something. If that were to happen, this would become a Syrian Sunnah versus Lebanese Shia holy war. And the minute those jihadi jeeps start heading into Lebanon, one, the Lebanese army will probably have to get involved with Hezbollah. Two, you're going to start seeing trucks from the Iraqi Shia Popular Mobilization Front invade Syria with Iranian backing, and we can have a three-country war because Trump said this stupid shit that he thinks that he is going to order the Syrian formerly Harakat Tahrir al-Sham terrorist group, which was backed by Al-Qaeda, now because that guy wears a suit in Damascus, can't say until my memoir comes out, but been there, done that, and he's said he's going to get them to invade Lebanon. Why? Because he's angry that Israel can't beat Hezbollah. I shit you not. I can't believe
it's certainly interesting turn of events when a former member of ISIS and a former leader of ISIS, former leader of ISIS and former leader of Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
ISIS and Al-Qaeda. He was responsible. I don't know if you remember the live burning of pilots in cages.
The Jordanian
cages where they burnt them alive. He was responsible for the whole setup. That's the person that we're talking about. He was on the U.S. most wanted list with a billboard wanting at least $10 million for his head. This is the type of person we're talking about. And it's interesting turn of event when that's the motherfucker that goes and looks at Trump and goes, you need to calm the fuck down. I'm willing to. Actually, we're sitting down and we're going to talk. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk with Hezbollah and we're going to establish economic foundation.
I can't believe this
rhetoric.
Story.
That is what's coming out from a former ISIS and Al-Qaeda leader to the United States.
Yeah,
I'm in my library because this guy made it into not one, but two of my books about Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
But the interesting thing here, there's actually some good news also, as you're pointing to, Wajeeh.
Oh, that would be fun.
Trump brought up this insane idea already 10, 12 days ago. And al-Shara had actually been invited to his birthday party last Sunday, and al-Shara declined. He declined to go to DC because Trump, the stupid idiot that he is, thought this is the guy that will save us from the mess that we've created. And al-Shara is actually way wiser and said, no, we're not going there. So
Ahmed al-Shara, all right, who is president of Syria now, who's a guy who wears suits and a 300 style beard like he's King Leonidas.
Known as Jaulani.
My first book, Jaulani, that's his call sign, showed up in my first book that I wrote in 2007. I wrote this book. And then the second edition, I wrote this in Baghdad. And the only place you could buy this book was in the PX at Camp Victory or at the Rashid Hotel. That was it. I made up about 100 copies. Then it got picked up and republished in 2014 as a textbook. Then guy shows up again in 2016 in my New York Times best-selling book, Defeating ISIS. I mean, he was part of Harakat al-Tahrir al-Sham, which was the Saudi-backed version of Al-Qaeda. Yeah. And then he fights his way through Syria. And then when Syria collapses, what was it, a year and a half ago?
With Turkish support.
With Turkish support, he emerges as the leader. And how does he convince everybody that he's fucking awesome, double thumbs up good? He puts on a suit.
Actually, he was part of the Al-Nusra.
Was he Al-Nusra?
Yeah. Before Harit Tayyar al-Sham.
Okay, for those of you who are wondering what all these groups are, terrorist groups.
Yeah.
Terrorist groups. Just want to let y'all know this. Groups. They're liberation via terrorism groups.
He started in Al-Qaeda in Iraq along with what's his name?
Zarqawi.
Zarqawi, which Zarqawi was the mentor of Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden, one of them.
Just a sec.
I literally have this guy in my. Is he under the Fallujah Regional Command? This is Al-Shada here. The reason we're all jumping up and leaving the rooms and getting data, ladies and gentlemen, is because this is so significant that the President of the United States would literally complain that the 500,000 mobilized Israeli army soldiers, is that his...
Oh my God.
That's Zarqawi. That's Zarqawi. But it's matches. Anyone for a smoke? This is when I was first time I was in Iraq.
Okay, all right.
Oh my God!
Let's not start whipping out the Johnsons here because I can beat you on that one. Okay, I got Zarqawi stuff all over this room. Hold on. So I'm looking.
I've been studying these people all my life, and you guys have their shit around.
We had to deal with them, bro. But anyway, I want to show you guys this video before everyone understands that we're getting junk on them. The reason we're going nuts over this is the President of the United States said the Israelis are incapable of beating Hezbollah, and that he was going to get this guy right here, to invade Lebanon with his former terrorist forces and beat Hezbollah. That's what he said. This interview that I have here is Al-Shada discussing, is he going to be a proxy for the United States government? Let me put the volume up. I hope it's in English. If it's in Arabic, we'll translate for you. But for him going, what? I'm a what? This way. I have to take off my headphones or you're not going to hear it. But this is the most insane thing I've heard in a while. I can't even wait for the Israelis, because Israel hasn't quite digested this yet to say, did he just say the Israeli army's incapable of defeating Hezbollah while you're telling us to stop shooting? Okay, so here's the video.
الحلوة سعيدة والدنيا السوري دور إيجابي بحت. يعني لن نرى سوريا ولا لن نرى الرئيس الشرع داخل إلى لبنان لينزع سلاح لأن ممكن جدا الاعتماد على سوريا في البحث عن مسار آمن. ولكن لن نرى الحبلاني هذا سوريا السابقة كان الذي يساعد السوري أثناء النظام السابق على لبنان تنبغي يسمح بالله على طول الواحد. ربما يكون شيء. وأيضا في البلاد ليش له النوبة ويستحضرون جزء من المهتم في لبنان على أنه جزء من الملف الإيراني. هذا فيه خطيرة كبيرة جدا. ماذا يقول الرئيس أحمد الشرع للجيوش الشيعية في لبنان اليوم؟ البحث عن حلول وتأمين الجيوش الشيعية داخل لبنان. هل مستعدين تدخلوا على لبنان بمبادرة تجمعوا فيها الأطراف وتعادوا معهم للوصول إلى حل وإلى تسوية؟ دور بصورة إيجابية من خلال المؤسسات اللبنانية والدولة اللبنانية.
Okay, which until I saw that video, I thought, wow, this is an insane idea. Did Sharon come up with this craziness? Apparently not. He himself said Syria is not taking on the Hezbollah file, which apparently somebody went to him and said, here's the Hezbollah file. We want you to kill, invade Hezbollah. Did Trump actually believe?
An hour later, he came out and he changed his statement.
He did?
Yes, he said, we are actually willing to work on a solution with Hezbollah based on economic and cultural ties rather than invading. That is someone that used to be Al-Qaeda and ISIS leader.
Look, Iqtisadi wa Islami. The two things that they have in common, economics and Islam. And he was saying that. But I shit you not, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we're going into this sort of spinning up about this is not just that he was a terrorist and has reformed himself and has come off as a statesman, and not just because he was invited, okay, to the Oval Office at a time that the Prime Minister of Greenland's never been in the Oval Office, right? He's got this guy, and Trump made this statement. Here's the fun part. As if Syria was our proxy to fight Iran's proxy, Hezbollah. And if double fingers up to the Israeli army. That is the most amazing thing that I've heard in the last 24 hours. Put aside Lucerne. Trump is clearly out of his mind, and there are people in the Oval Office talking crazy talk to him. Now, yesterday, Trump was at a 92% of Israelis said that the United States has lost that war. It's going up to 100%. His popularity is going to plunge to 20% in Israel. This is, can I use the official phrase? This is Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld would say. Jerry, that's cuckoo talk.
Yeah, it's cuckoo talk. It's cuckoo talk.
Y'all are learning something because I've heard no one else other than Michael Weiss and Mark Polymeropoulos comment on this at all. No one is talking about that Trump threatened on Fox News to use Syria to invade Lebanon because he thought Israel was screwing it up.
And it's super important, to see how far out Trump and the whole administration is on this.
But
there's one more interesting thing that Al-Sharaa has done, to put pressure on Hezbollah. Now, obviously, with the new Israeli yellow line and incursion into Lebanon, it's not that important. But if there is a full withdrawal, it will be important because, as my paid subscribers would know, I talked to them about this a couple of weeks ago. Up here, the Sheba Farms area, just below Mount Hamel. That has never been delineated whether that is Lebanese or Syrian territory, and the Syrian government has always played it as Lebanese for so Hezbollah could use that as a fig leaf to say there's still occupied territory in Lebanon, so that's why we have to keep up our militia. That has been all the while, the Hezbollah fig leaf for keeping the militia and not turning over power to the Lebanese armed forces that has been in every Security Council resolution, every international agreement on Lebanon in the last 20 years. But due to Sheba Farms, when al-Sarraj comes out and say, well, this is maybe Syrian, it will take that whole argument out of Hezbollah. So in the long term, it could have an impact if you can get everyone else to, play to some sanity and not pursue these crazy these crazy policies.
I mean,
that guy. I've got Jalani Abu Muhammad al-Jalani, which is who this guy is, already in my book, this book and that book. All right, that guy, if he's playing Sadat, where he thinks he's, I am peacemaker in chief.
I mean, let's be
one suicide bomber or machine gun burst away from sending Syria back into its, because everybody wants peace in Syria. But and he's right. Economics and Islam are the only way that he should approach this.
I mean, al-Julani and Iran has their own. Al-Julani and Iran has their own beef for a minute. But that doesn't mean that al-Julani is not a rational actor. For a long time, Iran used and needed Syria to bypass all of the other Arab countries and transport their military goods from Iran to Iraq, from Iraq to Syria, from Syria to Lebanon, all the way to the southern Lebanon to Hezbollah. When Bashar al-Assad had his civil war, the first two countries and the only two countries actually to step in and really help Bashar al-Assad was Russia and Iran. Russia was only access to warm water was the Syrian ports, and the Iranians only access to Lebanon was through Syria. So both of them went all out and supported the Syrian government. And when al-Julani won, he basically ended that corridor for the Iranian regime. If the United States thinks that
no way to transfer weapons.
Yes. If the United States takes this as a sign that al-Julani is standing against the United States, that would be a horrible thing. Like I don't want the Trump administration to look at this and then say, "Oh, the Syrian people are against us." It's more like the Syrian people know what's best for their interests, what's the best for the regional interests, even though the leader used to be a member of Al-Qaeda. But the reality is they just got over an 11, 12-year civil war. And they are literally asking for billions of dollars from foreign countries to pour in and invest in their infrastructure and their economy. And the last thing they want or need in their region is any other conflict. They're asking, in addition, basically what the Syrian government is doing is making an opportunity for all of these Western countries that received all of the Syrian refugees from this war to have these Syrian refugees to return home finally. That return to home wouldn't happen if a war happened between Syria and Lebanon. There would be a lot of different repercussions if we asked Syrians to fight a war that we shouldn't ask them to fight. There's a lot of other shits attached to this that is just a horrible idea.
I agree. Yeah. Oh, you're right. You know what? I just went back to my resource in defeating ISIS in April 2013. He was the leader of al-Nusra, Abu Muhammad al-Jalani. It says here, Baghdadi claimed that the Nusra Front in Syria was fully funded branch of the Islamic State of Iraq. That's back when it was pre-Iraq, but they would later join. Okay, yeah, I mean, he used to hang out with the biggest American killing terrorists on the planet, and he himself was a big American killing terrorist. And when he went to the Oval Office, he was treated with lauded. I mean, dinners and all this stuff, everything that they have never given Volodymyr Zelensky. respect, friendship, all these things, and to find that I think that this administration thinks that he's their proxy. They were setting him up to be a proxy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That being said, what other crazy shit happened that is related to these negotiations? Well, a couple of things that I think we need to talk about. One is not only did Donald Trump say crazy ass shit like that he was going to destroy Iran again and kill the negotiators, which is what he said on Saturday. Lindsey Graham went on Face the Nation and started making kooky talk to the Iranian people. I'm going to play you the audio so that we don't have any violation of copyright. But he essentially said to the people of Lebanon the same thing Trump said to the people of Iran when they were having their uprising. Let me know if this hurts.
Yeah.
To Saudi Arabia.
Let's go.
Now's the time to open negotiations yet again for you to expand the Abraham Accords, for you to join. I think this is going to happen in 2026, and it can't happen until Iran's in a box. If we get a deal, Iran will be in a box. If we don't get a deal, Iran will be in a box. To Lebanon, to the people in Lebanon, help is on the way. Hezbollah's been terrorizing your country for a long time. That's about to end.
Senator,
Help is on the way. I know there's at least 30,000 dead Iranians that were told that also, that help is on the way. We attacked Iran a month and a half after when their people rose up in rebellion. And, the thing is, Trump could have done it. He could have done it within 24 hours, started smashing air defense and softening things up. And you would have had a circumstance where the Iranian regime would have been under pressure internally. No, we just let them slaughter everybody, waited a month and a half. And then, this is why I constantly say there was no strategy involved in Iran. None whatsoever. It reminds me of those old Mickey Rooney movies from the 1930s where they got to raise $7 by nickels. And they go, I got it, kids. Let's have a show. And that's how that war felt. Like, hey, let's invade Iran now and we'll kill the leadership and everybody will love us. And now I got Lady Lindsey Graham out there on Meet the Press or Face the Nation saying to the people of Lebanon, help is on the way. Hey, did you think that help was in the form of Ahmed al-Shara? Did you think you were going to get the Syrians to invade like they're your proxy? I shit you not. All the signs are there that there is a secret plan to have had Syria act as our proxy. Holy cow. These guys ain't Hafez al-Assad and they ain't Bashar al-Assad. They do not have the heft or the dictatorial powers or an army backed by Moscow the way Syria did when I was 20 years old. This is crazy. Crazy talk.
We do have a strategy in Iran. It's use your most expensive rockets and most advanced missiles on the biggest rocks that Iran's have.
And we'll pay you to be bombed. We'll pay you big money to be bombed. Right?
That is our strategy.
We'll pay you double the damage. Right? Okay. Okay. Well, things are crazy. Okay.
But these people just don't have an idea of the Middle East. It's as simple as that. They have no idea.
So a lot of people are saying the Strait of Hormuz is closed. It is not closed. If you look at this chart from Sal Mercogliano, merchant captain extraordinaire, the green vessels that you are looking at are cargo ships, container ships coming out of the SOH. The red vessels are very large cruise carriers coming out of the SOH. However, 100% of them are coming through the Iranian traffic separation scheme, and they all appear to be Iranian flagged or contracted vessels. The Strait of Hormuz is closed.
Or Chinese, Malcolm.
Or Chinese.
I checked a couple of them are Chinese.
Yeah. So the Strait of Hormuz is closed to everyone except Iran. So
and China.
technically, Trump is right. The Strait of Hormuz is open for Iran and China to do business. Holy cow, I cannot believe this is the level of silliness that we have to deal with.
And we're still at around that 10% that we talked about on Saturday. 10% of normal traffic. So
10%.
it's somewhere between 15 and 30 a day.
It's supposed to be
Up and down a little
300
bit.
vessels per day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're not getting that volume at all. And Trump, okay, I'm going to show you this tweet where Trump comes out and says, in great happiness, oil, oh, I've got it. Oil is open. The Strait of Hormuz is open. Gas is flowing. Everything is happening, and everybody is looking around. All of us are the prime minister of Pakistan now. All right, we all. You know what it is, like that John Travolta meme from Pulp Fiction. He's looking around. What are you talking about? That's all of us right now.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here, no, that was from the other day. That's the Guardian Angel post. Trump is clearly deluded. He's deluded. And J.D. Vance himself said the SOH is open, but they're counting Iranian ships as being open. Okay. Oh, gosh. Somebody just reminded me I did not open up the chat for questions. I am going to open the chat up for questions. We have to close at 10 today. Wajeeh, please.
While you're doing it, I'm gonna take a minute to bring some honorable mentions, especially that it's Juneteenth.
It was.
It was Juneteenth, yes, but one thing is we should honor and respect those black men that served this country right before it was a country that gave them their rights. Black men served in World War I, where still
My grandfather.
segregation. Yes, segregation was still a thing.
My grandcousin. All fought in France.
Yes. Didn't many many of them had to convince themselves that they are fighting for a future democracy when the country didn't give them their basic rights. And many black community members did not see why they should do so. So the fact that these black men stood up and decided to serve their nation at some of the hardest time where the rest of the United States weren't convinced to serve in that war. Sergeant Johnson? No.
Yep.
Oh my God. I forgot. Sergeant Johnson.
Yeah.
He has a very famous story where he fought in the trenches and hand-to-hand combat. He killed 24 German soldiers in the middle of the night on his own. And that was the story that lifted a lot of the spirits for, the black community in the United States. And he was part of the 369th Regiment, known by the Germans as the Hellfighters from Harlem.
Harlem Hellfighters.
Because they just Harlem Hellfighters. And he received the Medal of Honor by President Obama. And it's just I was just listening to the story and learning about my American history that I'm becoming part of, and it was the hairs behind my neck just all went up just listening to it. Believe it or not, these soldiers that served their country came back, and some of them hung in their uniform by Americans.
Yes, there were. Wait till you read my memoir about my family's history. It starts in 1864. Two brothers run away from slavery in northern Alabama, join the Union Army. First, they join the Alabama Volunteers. Then they become the 111th U.S. Colored Troops. That wasn't enough action for one of them. He went on to Union riverine warfare ships and started bombarding Confederate forts. That was satisfactory for him. And then he went out to the West and joined the Buffalo Soldiers, Lima Company, 9th Cavalry, where he died on patrol with an inner ear infection, which they've described as having a giant corkscrew ground into your bones in your ear because there were no penicillin. There was nothing to stop the infection. He died and is buried in Fort Leavenworth Cemetery, William H. Nance. And we've got Nances in every war. Right up to, well, my niece is out. She got out just before this one. She retired, but I think my brother's son, a nephew, is still in the Navy. So we'll have to see. And also, you guys know I'm an amateur historian, right? One of the things that I'm doing, we have a working group that I've formed for people who are in New York City because we are trying to track down some photographs of these famous ladies from the 6888 Central Postal Battalion. This is them marching in France in 1945. And if you go see the movie on Netflix, the 6888, you will get a tear-jerking Guy Cry story about hard-ass ladies who cleared the backlog of 17 million pieces of mail that had been just thrown aside or couldn't be delivered, and they figured out a system and cleared it. First in Birmingham, England, then they went to Rouen, France, and this is their entertainment group. This is where they are on muster in England. This is the commanding officer, Colonel Charity Adams, who, from everything those women said, the movie rendition of her was accurate. Right? But it is a great story. These women served in France, and I am researching every year. I visit a distant relative who was in there, who was killed not in action. She was killed in a car accident where 3 women were killed in a Jeep accident. And just yesterday, working with Colonel Edna Cummings, the woman who wrote the book, The 6888, I have determined where they were the day that they were killed, what they were doing, and how and where they had the accident. And I intend to go to France and find that exact crash spot. So a lot of people have served and have given their all. This is where they were. Well, this is where their hotel was. And here they are in France in World War II. 300,000 African Americans served in Europe in World War II. There were only 800 of these women acting as postal clerks, clearing up the backlog. So go watch that movie, the 6888, and read Colonel Cummings' book. She's got several books out about that, and that will be an awesome Juneteenth for me. Okay, I didn't get those questions up. I'm going to put it up now. Hey, and Roger, to anyone whose family served or anyone who supports these families that serve. The oldest survivor of the 6888, the last one, is 104 years old. This woman is tough as nails. So absolutely amazing. So please go out and do a little something for them. But for the rest of you, I don't want to see you guys reading or hearing anything else about the Middle East unless you go to Wajeeh's question and answer or Jacob talking about Ukraine later. And we will be back tomorrow for all of you to see that. And, in case somebody asked what were the name of the books, you cannot get this book anymore. The Terrorists of Iraq, I think you might get it on eBay for $300 or $400, but you still can get this book in remainders out there for $10 or $15. This is the encyclopedia of ISIS. So
And
these
are actually older photos of Zarqawi.
Zarqawi on the back.
Oh my God.
That's back when he was in Jordan from Zarqa.
So from
Great
Zarqa.
Roman ruins.
I need to interview you both on on how you guys ran into this shit, because I grew up in an extremist household where my father wanted me to be a mujahid. So my father's connections was with a lot of religious extremists that are now in political prison in Saudi Arabia, and all are blacklisted. Many of them served in
Wait,
Afghanistan with Osama bin Laden and shit.
pause. Somebody here just tweeted that they have the phone number to get a hold of Montel Williams. Whoever that is, I'm bringing up the chat now. Contact me via DM. All right, because I got to get Montel Williams to write the forward for Thinker, Sailor, Black Man, Spy. He actually, chapter 5, where I'm at NSA, starts off with me seeing him in the hallway and going, who the hell's that guy? That guy's shit is squared away. And then watching all the women turn their heads as he walks down the main corridor at NSA near the cafeteria. That was something. Montel Williams always had his shit tight. That guy was amazing. Russian linguist, too. So thanks. I'm sorry, Wajeeh. I didn't mean to cut you off like that. Go ahead and make your last comments. I'm bringing up the chat now.
No worries. So I grew up listening to the lectures of Anwar al-Awlaqi, Zarqawi, been listening to all these extremist sheikhs. So I know their lectures. I know their people, been in rooms that know them personally. So it would be really special to interview you guys. I'll write like a bunch of questions. And I would love to pick your brains on those things, because it would be a different perspective from someone that grew up there to someone that served fighting these organizations.
Both Malcolm and I have a very dubious past. Yeah.
Dubious. Look, Wajeeh, one of these days, I'm gonna tell you quietly. The single people are always out there. They're like, oh, y'all didn't do anything in the spy world. Let me tell you something. Anybody that was in Iraq, your life was in danger every moment you were in that country.
Yeah.
They would snatch people off the streets. They'd suicide bomb you. They'd step up, assassinate you. Shark patrols are running up and down the highways. They'd see a white guy in a car. They'd just gun your ass down dead. And then there were the suicide bomb trucks that killed one of my teams and one of my clients, not clients, but a person who I was co-worker with, vaporized all 6 of them, coming out of the airport at Spaghetti Junction, right there as you exited the airport and headed towards the green zone. It was just goddamn dangerous. If you were serving cookies at the commissary, you were in mortal danger every minute that you were in Iraq. But one of these days, watch, I will tell you about the single most dangerous thing I have done in my life. And it wasn't being bombarded by the Russians or shot at by snipers or stepping near on landmines. It had to do with, well, Islam. And I will tell you that story someday. And eventually, when the book comes out, you will be able to read that story too, because it's just crazy. Dangerous. It involved me leaving my house at 2 a.m. in Baghdad. Right there, right? Boom. Everyone's going to kill you when you step outside your front gate. The Americans, the Al-Qaeda, everybody will be gunning for your ass.
Don't forget, just during this conflict, the Iraqis kidnapped a U.S. journalist, and the only reason she was released is because the peace talks started happening, and the first thing the Americans demanded is her release. So they haven't stopped kidnapping Americans. You're not necessarily safe, especially during a conflict.
The lady from Baltimore said, I think you told it once. No, I didn't tell you the entire story. I only told you that part up to I had to leave my house at 2 a.m, just without any question, any question, the most dangerous thing. Even now it's like, holy shit, that was stupid. I should have stood in bed. I kept thinking, an Apache gunship is tracking me right now. I'm about to die. Oh, it's okay. There's an AC-130 gunship over there shooting shit. They're watching me now. I'm about to die. Oh, maybe it's a drone. Maybe it's Al-Qaeda going, what's that dumbass doing out of his house? Let's kill him. I never leave the house at night, y'all. So that was a different time in history. All right. Never enough stories, as Irene says. The question and answer of Swissopalooza is up. Go ahead and post that. Whoever you are that says you have Montel Williams' number, DM me or tell me your name in the questions, and I will DM you, and we can swap data there. Because Montel needs to be the write the forward for Thinker, Sailor, Black Man, Spy, because technically that title is his also. He was a Thinker, Sailor, Black Man, Spy. So we shall see how that all works out. It'd be awesome if you guys got me the hookup. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Oh, Teresa Sylvia
I know who's, Teresa is the one, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get a hold of her. She's always posting on here. Okay, guys, we will see you tomorrow. If you're watching this on YouTube and you watched us go around and open our books and jump around the room, well, we hope you learned something today, because we think that data that we talked about today with regards to Syria is the single most significant thing happening. And then them blowing Donald Trump off was even more significant. So let's hope that this collapses. We will talk more tomorrow. Thank you, Jacob. Enjoy your afternoon, Wajeeh. Enjoy your early morning. I am going to a funeral. So take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
My condolences. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.